It's Friday, Feedback Friday, the feedbackiest day of the week. It's Feedback Friday. And a very special Feedback Friday. I have an announcement of the boss fight myths that are going to be included in season 1 of Boss Fight based on backer voting. Yes, this is real. Now, the Patreons got the complete breakdown of all the numbers and how they worked and how I put it together. So they are my check. A lot of people don't necessarily want that boring stuff, but if you want to become a patron and find out this inside baseball stuff or inside gaming stuff, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K. It helps out a lot and it's fun. So here is the list. I am going to cut over to a screen grab of my monitor where you can see a spreadsheet I made with the point totals. I did this fancy pants, like making the formulas and all that stuff. Okay, it wasn't that fancy, but your winners are, as you see based on the totals, way out in front with 415 points. The only thing to crack 400 points is the sexy female characters are bad myth. Now, this includes games with female protagonists don't sell, and we're going to look at the phenomenon of the waifu, which is going to lead to a very interesting boss for that episode. Video games rot your brain was the second. Now, I should say the sexy female characters are bad myth was a write-in. That was one that the backers for Kickstarter added during that period before the final vote. So that was a very meaningful feature of being a Kickstarter backer for this thing. And so the video games rot your brain issue, there's nothing worthwhile about playing games. That was added because somebody said, hey, I want a myth about you can't get a job playing through playing video games. That was added for people too. And then video games aren't art and all screen time is bad for kids and teens. So that's what we're going to look at. It was a tie for second. So I get a little play with the ranking on that one. And I think it's so great that the sexy female characters are bad episode is going to be the finale. Very exciting. But games cause or encourage violence, sexism, and other dangerous or antisocial behaviors. That was tied with the basically video games are junk. Number 4, still very close. You'll notice there was a big gap between first and the tie for second. 415 points versus 396 points a piece. But then the next one was very close. 392. The gamer identity is inherently white, straight, cisgender, and male, and games are nothing but male power fantasy. The gaming community is accordingly a monolith. That part got cut off. And then number 5, and there was a solid 7 points between 5 and 6. So it wasn't super close, but it does show that there was a lot of interest in the remaining stuff. Nothing was just completely like no interest. So these remaining myths will be held on to, and we're going to vote all over again for like season 2 and possibly 3, and I don't know. But the final one is games are unhealthy. Gaming is an addiction. Stop playing games and go outside. Video games contribute to mental illness and so on. So there is some overlap. I want to be clear that the games are unhealthy is not the same as games encouraging these, horrible antisocial things. The games rot your brain is not the same as, that's basically games make you stupid. There's nothing worthwhile. That's different than games make you sick. So we're basically dealing with games make you sick, games make you bad, and games make you dumb. They are different myths. So you'll notice that 3 of these myths also deal with women, with issues connected to women, which I found really interesting. But this is our list. This is what we're going for. So now what happens is the people that took the writing tier, they're going to start writing the backstories for the characters. First of all, we're gonna vote. The people that did this vote, we're gonna vote on which bosses will will represent. Oh man, the sexy female character myth. That's gonna be a heck of a one. But that's gonna be a fun one for obvious reasons. I sounded like Beelzebub there for obvious reasons. So now we're gonna vote on which bosses represent which myths, and then the people who took the writing credit, and those are gonna be super fast. Like we're talking like 48 hours for each one. Just vote. And then the writers are going to sink their teeth into doing these character backstories, which are going to be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people come up with for that. So now with our remaining time, that only took 6 minutes. I want to briefly touch on the comments for the week because it was fairly active in terms of comments. Some people really misunderstood the "is video game feminism controlled by men? I got a not all men" thing, as if I ever said all men. I specifically said in the video, select men. But the top comment, the top two comments seem to be, Discussion Corner says, women are people and have their own agency. The fact that this needs to be mentioned is why I'm moving back to the woods. Tempting Fate says it's benevolent sexism for profit. And then Oron Darklord responded to the question I asked, which I'd like to hear the prescriptions. Isn't that what most of us are here for? Which is interesting because I wasn't sure about that. And I'm going to start off based on what he said. I tend to be of the opinion that an idea is right if it's right and wrong if it's wrong, no matter who's saying it. But even so, the idea of a group's equality and collective interest movement being controlled by people not part of that group just rubs me wrong. People ought to get to steer their own ship, though others are allowed to agree or disagree where that ship is heading. And that's the nuance that gets lost in these discussions because people just knee-jerk. There is definitely... Anybody should be able to say they like a character, they don't like a character. It doesn't matter if they're part of a particular identifiable group or not, right? Characters just rub different people the wrong way. They're not a bad person because they don't like a character, right? I get into Yen versus Triss debates all the time. You know, I maintain that Yennefer is a great character just because she is so flawed and so in some ways like downright unlikable. And people are like, oh no, I can't stand her. And it's like, there's nuance there, right? I like her because she's unlikable versus I just don't like her. And there are some things that are just right and are just wrong. If there is a structural issue with something involving a game, you don't have to be part of the affected group to comment on that. Where it does become really messy, and this happens with women all the time, is when the men who write these op-eds, which are the majority of the op-eds still. It's a lessening majority, but it is still the majority of these op-eds about sexism in games or esports still has a problem with women. These are still men writing these articles. And it's a completely different point of view than a woman saying, look, here's what I, as an individual that happens to be a woman, would like to see to make me feel like I can navigate the gaming space better. And a lot of it is just, there are a lot of socialization issues at play here. And the socialization of girls is so uniquely awful that unless you've been through it, it's very hard to explain what it does to you. And that's the problem, is that some of these experiential things, they are extremely difficult to explain. I happen to be really good at qualifying and quantifying that experience. A lot of people aren't. And so it becomes this, I feel this very strongly, I really can't explain it well thing. And that's why I think we need more women writing about this stuff so that we can actually create a vocabulary of people who have experienced it, that are able to give other people the tools to explain, like, yes, this, how this person put this was my experience. And that shouldn't remove men from the discussion completely. People have to be able to interact on a topic. And this is why I'm so happy that, like, this whole sexy female characters thing, as somebody who's been a sexy female character, I was a model in Battle Station Specific. I can speak to this really well. But sexy female character on and inside and out of gaming, but having that particular experience of being a pinup model in a video game. This is something I'm uniquely qualified to speak about. But the knee-jerking does get in the way, but I think the thing we're doing well here is we're letting people knee-jerk, we're letting people have those moments, but we're not getting bogged down in them. Like, I'm not going to take the bait on the not all men question. I'm not going to do that. I never said that. That's straw manning. I'm not going there. Now, the other two videos are a little bit more difficult to summarize the comments succinctly because they were kind of all over the map in a good way. And it won't let me go back. Oh, this stupid YouTube menu. Okay. It's the other things were heady stuff. The clever trash talk didn't get the traction I thought it would, but the people who watched it really enjoyed it. We had some fun on Twitch. We were riffing on Monkey Island style jousting insults. The justice being indivisible thing, some people popped off, but they shared, and okay. That generated a lot of very interesting conversation, and I think to give respect to the dialogue. I'm not going to pick and choose comments there. It's worth a read. Even the stuff that's a little bit tough to read, even the people that don't quite get it. Somebody went off, kind of misunderstood my legal system comment, which is unfortunate that they misunderstood it. I was actually advocating for calling it a legal system. One of the funny parts is that Ironhead 2008 said that Southern Baptist families are similar to Jewish families in terms of disagreements. I did not know that. That's very funny. Italian families that REWL1 said, Italian families, I knew about that. But there's some good comments there. One person said, don't lump in Catholics and Christians. I wasn't realized I was doing that. I wasn't realizing that other, yes, I knew that some Christians didn't, emphasize the Trinity as much. I did not know that some Christian denominations, didn't use the Trinity at all. So I'm interested in hearing more about that. I didn't know that. There's a lot of really interesting comments. So I'm going to leave it there because the comments are just worth a read. I opened it up to read those few comments that I thought were funny about the Southern Baptists and the Italians and everything like that. And then I got lost in the comments because, oh, wow, so much thinking. So I'm going to leave it there and let you guys enjoy the comments as is. My question I'm going to pose again. Should I reveal the bosses in advance? And this will be on the survey as well, but I'm just curious as a straw poll sort of what you guys think. Should I reveal the bosses in advance or should they be surprises in the show? The Voting on the plot points. I have this really cute device for how to reveal them in the show. So those are going to be revealed one per show in the first 4 shows of Boss Fight, because it's just going to be cute to show the percentages and everything of the vote while the show's going on. But should I reveal which bosses get picked in advance? Let me know. Leave a comment. Become a patron, because patrons get a lot of this inside baseball stuff. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/DeannaK. And have a very good weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Play some games. Pick up a few old classic adventure games cheap on GOG. It only costs you like $10. I got Sid Meier's Pirates for like $3 this week on a sale. There's plenty to play that doesn't cost you a lot of money and doesn't take up a lot of computer resources. So enjoy, and thanks for watching.